The Velthury Bazaar smelled like burnt copper and desperation. Orion Kane had been on Kelthus Station for 3 days, and he still hadn't gotten used to the smell. He moved through the crowded market lanes with his hood pulled low, a duffel bag slung over one shoulder, looking for a parts dealer who wouldn't overcharge him for a secondary fuel injector. His ship, the Pale Meridian, wasn't going anywhere until he found one. He almost walked past her. Almost. She was chained to a rusted pole near the back of a dead-end lane, where the market thinned out and the lighting turned orange and sickly. She was tall, taller than him by at least a foot, with pale silver-blue skin and 4 arms, the lower pair folded tightly against her ribs. Her hair was dark and matted. Her eyes, when they opened and found his, were the deep violet of a storm seen from orbit. Around her neck hung a crude sign, scratched into a piece of flat metal. Free. Nobody wants her. Take if you dare. Orion stopped walking. He looked at the sign. He looked at her. He looked at the chain, heavy gauge, bolted to the pole with a lock the size of his fist. Hey, he said. She blinked. Her upper hands, he noticed, were trembling slightly. Her lower hands were clenched into fists. You speak standard? He asked. A pause. Then, slowly, she nodded. How long have you been chained here? She opened her mouth. Closed it. Tried again. Her voice came out rough, like something that hadn't been used in a while. 11 rotations. 11 rotations on Kelthus Station was roughly 4 days. 4 days chained to a pole in a market, offered for free, with nobody stopping. Orion set down his duffel bag. Okay, he said. Her name was Lyra. She was Velthy, a species Orion had read about but never met, from a system 3 jumps past the outer markers. Her people were rare this far into the trade lanes. Her kind were considered difficult, the vendor had told him, when Orion tracked him down 20 minutes later in a food stall. Difficult how? Orion had asked, very calmly. The vendor, a squat, 4-eyed dreth named Corval, had shrugged 4 shoulders. Proud. Won't obey. Won't be broken. I had her 3 months. She bit off 2 of my employees' fingers. Nobody buys a slave who won't break. Orion had looked at the man for a long moment. She's not a slave, he said. She's a person, and you chained her to a pole in a market for 4 days. Corval had laughed. You humans. Always so dramatic. You want her? She's free. Take her. Good riddance. Orion had taken the key. He cut the chain himself. The key only opened the collar, and the chain itself had rusted badly around the pole. Lyra stood very still while he worked, watching him with those violet eyes. She didn't ask for help. She didn't thank him. She simply watched. When the chain fell away, she didn't collapse. She straightened, all the way, to her full height, and for the first time, Orion saw what she actually looked like when she wasn't being deliberately diminished. She was striking. All 4 of her arms moved with quiet, deliberate grace. Her chin lifted. You are human, she said. It wasn't quite a question. Last time I checked, Orion said, picking up his duffel. Why did you stop? He considered the question seriously. Because you were chained to a pole, he said. And the sign said nobody wanted you. That seemed like something that needed fixing. Lyra was quiet for a moment. Most species that passed through did not stop, she said. The Grithani, the Salvek, 2 Keth merchants. None of them stopped. Yeah, well. Orion started walking back toward the main market lane. Come on. I need to find a fuel injector, and then we need to get you somewhere with food and water and a place to sleep that isn't a market pole. She followed him. On the Pale Meridian, she ate 4 full ration packs without stopping and drank nearly 2 liters of water. Orion watched from across the small galley table and said nothing. When she finally finished, she set the empty pack down and looked at him. You did not ask what I am worth, she said. You're not worth anything, Orion said. You're not a commodity. To most of the galaxy, I am. Most of the galaxy is wrong. Lyra looked at him for a long time. The Velthy are a warrior caste species, she said finally. We do not submit. We do not accept chains. It is considered a flaw. Sounds like a feature to me. Something shifted in her expression. Not quite a smile, but something adjacent to it. The man who owned me said I would be broken eventually, she said. That all things break. Orion leaned back in his chair. Did you believe him? No, she said. But I was beginning to wonder if I would die on that pole before I found out. He nodded slowly. Where do you want to go? He asked. I can take you wherever you need to go. Back to Velthy space if that's home. Somewhere else if it's not. She tilted her head. You would do this. I said I would. Why? Orion thought about it. Because somebody chained you to a pole, he said, and offered you for free because you refused to stop being yourself. That's not a flaw, Lyra. That's the whole point. She stayed. Not because he asked, he didn't. But 3 days after he found her, when the Pale Meridian was repaired and ready to leave, Lyra came to the cockpit and sat in the co-pilot seat as if she'd always meant to be there. I have nowhere to return to, she said. Filthy space is not what it was. My unit was destroyed. I was captured in the aftermath. A pause. I would like to travel. If you will have me. Orion looked at the navigation console. Fair warning, he said. This ship goes to some genuinely terrible places. I run courier work, salvage, occasionally something that's technically legal if you squint. I bit off 2 fingers of the last person who gave me orders I did not agree with, Lyra said calmly. Good to know. He started the launch sequence. I was thinking we head to the Drathani relay first. There's a cargo pickup. The Drathani relay has a patrol route with a 7-minute blind window on the eastern approach, Lyra said, pulling up the NAV charts with 2 of her 4 hands while the other 2 checked the sensor board. If we time the jump correctly, we avoid the toll gate. Orion blinked. He looked at her. She looked back, completely matter of fact. Veilthy warriors study navigation as a survival skill, she said. Among other things. Other things, he repeated. Combat. Tactical analysis. Ship systems. Survival in 17 different atmospheric conditions. A very slight pause. I am also an exceptional cook, though I recognize that is less relevant to your current concerns. Orion laughed. It surprised him. A real laugh, the kind he hadn't had in a while. He turned back to the console. Lyra, he said, I think this is going to work out fine. Later, when they were in the jump, she asked him a question. The sign said nobody wanted me, she said. Why did that change for you? Orion didn't look away from the stars. It didn't, he said. The sign was wrong from the start. She was quiet for a moment. Humans, she said finally. And for the first time, she actually smiled, a slow, strange, violet-eyed smile that had clearly not been used in a very long time. I was told your species was unremarkable. Who told you that? Everyone. Orion smiled. Everyone's wrong about that too. The Pale Meridian slipped through the dark between stars, carrying 1 stubborn human and 1 unbreakable alien, moving forward, which, in the end, is the only direction that ever mattered.